the Industrial Hemp Conference, and unbelievable, for years and years I've been trying to get Gene on this on our cast here, and finally I got here. So Gene, welcome to Cannabis News Florida, live from the Industrial Hemp Conference here at the Rosen Center Hotel in Orlando, Florida. We're about towards the end of the first day, and we got some great stuff going on here tomorrow. Gene, tell us what's going on here tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow we're going to be focusing on the business of hemp, right? So things you need to know if you're in the hemp industry, business aspects related to the business side of it, how to get a license. If you want to grow hemp, we've got a presenter, Jocelyn, who's going to be talking about how you go about getting a license here in the state of Florida. And really focusing on the industrial side, the business side of the community.
Right, which is very important, because a lot of people, you know, you're not getting in this for a hobby. You may start out as a hobby, but you want to get into it for a business. And you need to talk to the people that know how to do it. And so, I mean, today is, you know, a little bit late unless you're right around the corner to come on in today. But tomorrow, come on down. I'm telling you that if you're interested in getting into the business, this is the place to be if you want to get into the hemp business and understand what the farming is all about and the business aspect of it. Of course, it's more than just throwing seeds in the ground and putting water on it.
Yeah.
So you got to be able to do it.
On that point, you made a good point about that. You know, one of the values coming to events like this is the lessons learned. Not only what to do, but probably more important, what not to do. Right?
Right, not to do, that's right.
For those of you that are listening in and can't make, can't come here to Orlando, we are recording the session, so we can make those available if somebody's interested.
Oh, that's great. So tomorrow, if you're Sunday at home, there's no football going on tomorrow at Sunday, so you may want to just turn on the computer, register for the virtual only. And it would be great to be able to get you on the virtual.
Yep.
And the bonus of that is that I'll be hosting a session tomorrow at about 10:30. So if you really want to see somebody's face on the screen, actually learning and teaching and hosting, I will be there tomorrow afternoon. So besides this one, Gene's very, very busy in this field of hemp and cannabis and sports business of cannabis. So tell us the next one coming up at the beginning of June.
Yeah, the next one coming up is the Florida Medical Cannabis Conference. This is going to be our 5th event. We started the program back in 2016, and the focus of that conference is on the fostering and development of the medical cannabis community. Right, so we do talk about the business side of medical cannabis. We talk about for docs how to start your own operation, how to get involved on the business, how to the pitfalls of some of what folks in the industry are going through with merchant processing, banking, a whole host of issues that if you're in the business, things you really should know.
Absolutely, and I will tell you that there are lots of cannabis physicians out there beginning the process or in the middle of the process, and we all know the OMMU changes constantly. They're putting out notices as far as changing. We're going to get updates on all that. You're going to understand how to handle a practice, and like Gene says, from recommendations, you're going to have other physicians here to be able to meet and talk and use best practices, and also be able to talk to people about how do I run the business as far as banking. Banking's always been a challenge for this industry and continue to be the industry until we get that safe banking law. But if you really want to know about the business of cannabis, and if you're a doctor, even more important to come down with your peers to be able to understand best practices and how to, sometimes an important part, how to attract patients and how to not, as one might say, have conflicts with other physicians, so you can basically treat their patients and they can go on merry way and not have to deal with trying to steal a patient.
Yeah, Charles, you mentioned OMMU. What better way to hear what's going on within the industry than from OMMU, and they're going to be here tomorrow.
They'll be here at the
not tomorrow,
but they'll be here at the conference,
June, yeah.
Which is good because they're going to be the ones that a lot of people have questions for. And they may not be able to answer them then, but put them in writing and hopefully you get an answer back from them. But again, they regulate the industry for both patients and physicians and for the MMTCs, so you should come down. Now, even more interesting, even not more interesting, but as interesting, is the next one that's coming up at the end of July.
End of July, July 29th
Right,
through the 31st, we're doing the inaugural Cannabis in Sports. Yes, you heard that right, Cannabis in Sports. This is actually an idea from Dr. Jeff Conan that came to me. He's one of our presenters at last year's.
He also writes for my newspaper on a regular basis.
Yep,
He's the expert in the field, no question about it.
He is. And so Dr. Conan came to me at the end of last year saying, I've got an idea, right? I like the way you run your conference. Here's an idea about doing one for the sports industry. And talk about cannabinoids and how they are used to fight inflammation, how they can be used by athletes, and what are some of the pitfalls right now. So, what you can and can't do. Some of the things that you need to be aware of within the industry so you don't get athletes in trouble, so that they're not banned from participating in events, and where regulations might be headed. The NCAA recently modified some of their provisions related to cannabis.
And some of the professional sports have also done that too. So the industry is changing, and in this industry, from any industry, if you're ever involved, you want to be in there, and we're still at the beginning of this industry. Understand the beginning of the industry to be able to be successful in the future. If you don't come to events like this, and you're constantly just going to pure networking events without education, it's a great place to meet people. But you also have to be educated on what you're going to do. Gene does a great job in the education part of it like nobody else does. You really need to come, see what's going on, understand what I call, as we do, the business of cannabis, plus the medical side of cannabis. Most important to be able to come down. So if you can make it tomorrow on the video, come down to the next one in the beginning of June and the end of July. It'll definitely be worth your while. And the other one's virtual too, I would assume.
Yeah, we're all of our events are hybrid events, right? So you can come in and attend in person, or you can attend virtually.
But you really want to come down to the event. I mean, if for some reason you really can't make it, if you're out of town, that's great. But spend the time to come down, because not only do you get educated by the speakers, I will tell you, the vendors are going to educate you as much as sometimes the speakers. As sometimes they're presenters, and sometimes you can have a candid conversation with and ask those questions that you couldn't ask or didn't want to ask when you were virtual. So come on down to the event. Put it this way, it's not an expensive event to come to be able to get the knowledge that you need. So I would sign up. And again, Gene, how would they try to get a hold of you? What's the best way?
Best way would be to probably get in touch with me by email. So it's Gene, Gene, at can-ed.org. So Gene at caned.org.
And if that doesn't work for you, every newsletter you get from me on Wednesday, has Gene's information and links how to register. So instead of just reading it, click on the link and register and learn more. If you're saying, well, I'm not ready to register, I want to see what's going on, click it every week, because I'm going to tell you there's an update every week of new speakers, agendas, and everything else. So really make the effort to be able to come out, because you won't be disappointed. And Gene, I really thank you for stopping by. Another great event here in Orlando. And hopefully it won't pour this afternoon.
No, hopefully not. And Charles, I just got to pass on for the viewers. I have to commend you for what you do for the industry. Right? You promote and get the word out about what's going on, and the content and the publication is fantastic. So
well, I appreciate that. Yeah. You do what you enjoy, and if you enjoy what you do, you never really work. So that's great. Yep. Thank you, Gene. Again, thank you much.
All right.